Hello, welcome to another episode of Commander Durdle. So this week we're on to Theros, and we're fortunate in that we have a number of legends that we can choose from here. I thought what I'd do is I'd go with one of the gods. It's a good opportunity to build a monocolour deck. I thought also we'd see what we can do with mono red. I suspect the algorithm will push us down Goblin Tribal. So there's a number of ways this might go. It could go just general red tokens. It could go Goblin Tribal. It could go obviously more Goblin tokens. So those are sort of themes that might come through the algorithm. The seed here isn't going to specifically push it, I don't think, in any way. All I've done is included cards from the set that have useful utility. I'm not necessarily expecting them to pull the algorithm a certain way, so I don't think this is going to turn into some weird red bestow deck. I've just literally included stuff that I thought would be fun, or is an example of a particular thing that is in the set, and there might be stronger ways of doing it. For instance, we've got a couple of cards here that fix, or not fix for mana, but help search out basic lands. We're only obviously playing our basic lands are all mountains here. This is an interesting card because of devotion, and again we might see cards coming through that big up our devotion to red. I didn't specifically drag any of those in because there are other cards that in Magic that care about you playing red but don't necessarily mention devotion. I thought this was interesting to use in combination with Purphoros, and I also think this was interesting in the context of our mono red deck. I already mentioned about the Burnished Hart. Seeing as we've got the god, we might as well have its equipment as well, and that might possibly, I not really want to play it for this necessarily. Although I suppose it is interesting to be able to sack a land and have a 3/3 Colourless Golem enchantment artifact creature token. But it's not going to benefit from any, cares about red spells, of course. And there wasn't much equipment in the set, as you'll know if you watch the set musings for this. But there was a piece of equipment that did have flying and haste, so I thought that would be quite fun to just have in here. Again, this might get taken out if there's more interesting artifacts. We've got Demolish, artifact and land destruction, and we've got Anger of the Gods. Anger of the Gods deals 3 damage to each creature. If a creature dealt damage this way would die this turn, he goes out instead. Interesting, not quite mass removal, but mass removal for anything that has 3 toughness or less. The only problem is if we end up playing tokens, it will work against us because it's to each creature. So although the exile doesn't really matter, it's more just as removal. So I suspect this is going to come out if that's the way this ends up going. However, if it's a set, supposing I start getting suggested like really large dragons, which probably is unlikely, then this seems less of a problem. So we'll see. Okay, so let us go into here, and we'll just run this first on its own. Land count's fairly low at the moment. In fact, I'm sort of expecting the curve to be a bit low, so we might have to adjust that. Obviously, we're going to end up with a lot of creatures, but if this turns out to to be tokeny in nature, then there's quite a lot of obviously red sorceries that generate tokens. So I mean, often I start with instants and sorceries first, but I might be extra special minded to do that. Let's have a look and just see what the suggested planeswalker might be. Okay. Interesting. Why not? So let's just look at this. Ooh, we should play a Blood Moon. Or should we? I don't really want to mess up my non-bait. Yeah. Maybe I won't. Okay, whenever a creature's about foot under your control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage. So, it does look like it's encouraging us to go down the token deck. What do we got here? Okay, so that's going to generate tokens. Ooh. It is across the board, but it's also do damage to the opponent, but it does double damage. Yeah, let me come back to those. Sometimes it, you know, as you've seen in the past, what I'll sometimes do is add other cards first and then rerun the suggestion, so it tweaks the suggested cards based on what's now in the deck. So what do you reckon? Well, let's go. Okay, destroy creature target place for each creature does. Okay. Let's see if we can entice it to go down the Goblin tribal route. Okay, always good to have cards that give us card. Do I want to? Let me just take. Wheel of Misfortune. That's funny. Okay, just re-roll this. Yep, Goblin tokens it is, I think. See where we go. That's quite cool. Turning goblins into dragons. Sorceries now. I might run a Vandal Blast. Okay. See. What do we want to be able to do at instant speed? Damage to each play. Okay. Decisions. Okay, maybe I'll come back to that. Right. Let us start to think about artifacts. I mean, we're playing tokens. If it's not buffing tokens and it's sticking out 1/1s, I suspect is going to suggest probably Skull Clamp. Oops. Also a Soul Ring, so yeah, these two in a mono red deck, I would like to play those. Now, I seem to remember, whoa, sorry, that was not smart of me. There we go. Okay.
If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability or of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. We'll see. Right. I think we're in a position to now start adding creatures. And as you can see here, yep, we got goblins and goblin tokens all over the place. Okay, return it to play. So is there anything that triggers off of Norin coming back into play? Probably not at the moment. Make the deck super aggressive. Okay, so now I do want Blood Moon in here. Right. 20 creatures. I'm going to put a few more in, but before I do that, I think I'm going to just see now how the enchantments look. Right. It's good. Shared animosity. I like the sound of that. Let's have a look at some non-basics. I don't want to play a ton necessarily. Although Valakut would be nice. It's a kobold, not a goblin though. That one. It's a number of colours.
play that, I think. And that, yeah, that's fine. $35 land, okay. Fine with that. So we still got a ton of space in the deck here. What's my curve look like currently? Okay. Let's look and see. What's the 9-drop then? Oh, Blasphemous Act. Okay, that's fine then. Because we have a lot of creatures on the battlefield, so I'm not too worried about that. At least that's the plan anyway. Okay. Creature wise, oh that's nice. Where's that cut off between 3 and 4? Okay, good. Right, back into creatures. Put a creature token into play that's a copy of a target non-legendary creature you control. That creature token has haste. As a small creature attacks from moving or in the way from the game. There's Goblin Recruiter. Control first strike travel. It can't be blocked by creature tokens. Yeah, why not? 93. Whew. So, let's have a look look at the instance enchantments. We've still got seven slots. Yeah, 7 slots. So we might do some more creatures. Let's just look and see what sort of instance we're getting suggested. Maybe I could put a seething song in here. Bolt. That's an interesting card. Yeah, I should put that in. Impact Tremors. For source you control will deal damage to opponent or player. Deals triple that damage. Okay, that needs to go in. That needs to go in. Yeah, in 2 minds how. Aggressive. I suppose I could just have it in the deck and not choose not to cast it. It might be good in certain scenarios. Okay. So we've got a lot of sorceries that are creating goblin tokens. So the choice now is, do I add more artifacts or more creatures? Let's see. Okay, that could get out of control. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses life equal to the number of tapped creatures you control. If you hear a funny noise in the background again, it's one of my kitties yowling. Okay, so it looks like I did end up adding more artifacts. Right, so first things first, let me just export this. And we'll do a few sample hands here. But before I do that bit, yeah, I'm a little... It might be okay. So let's go into the playtester. Right. Okay, that's actually quite a nice hand. So play it on mountain. We can play out our Travel's Amulet. Then we get a choice to play out our second mountain. Oops. Go away. And then that means that at this point we can crack that for a basic land, or we could put out our ruby medallion. And then after that, Hazaret's Monument. Maybe I will crack this for an additional land. hand. Where's the... Oh, there it is. I always forget where that is. Right. Let's got our Den of the Bugbear. Okay. Shame that didn't come out earlier. Right, so suppose I'd be inclined to put that out. Got a Goblin Warchief. I can get that out now. Can also cast. Now that would come into play tapped, I think. Yeah, so that would be coming to play tapped. But I have enough here to play my Goblin Warchief. And now this untaps, so I've really got some choices here. I probably want to bestow that on something. I'd certainly get this out. So, of course, with these, it's making everything going forward a lot cheaper to cast. So, yeah, I think I'm where I need to be. And now we're starting to see our mana and our goblins appearing. Good. Okay, let's look another hand here. So, Mountain, Krenko, Legion War Boss. Okay, Nixos, that's always nice to see that early on. That out. Demolish. Mountain. Or War Marshal, which I can cast as long as I remember to play the Echo cost. Or I can choose not to, and then when it dies it creates another red goblin creature token. So it's handy. So at this point, with this in play, things start to get interesting. So let's just have a look, see how things pan out. Again, we want to be seeing more goblins or things that generate goblins. Cool, okay. Again, looks like we're good on our opening hands with the mountains. Here's our Valakut. So once we get 5 mountains, that comes online. Okay. It does enter the battlefield tapped, actually. Just to bear that in mind.
What's that? Battle Cry Goblin. Get that out. Get my Battle Cry Goblin out. Get that out. Probably either or here. Oops. That. Yeah, okay, so we're good. What's that? So at the moment that would be 7 to cast. Okay, so yep. So let's just see again. Are we getting lots of nice goblins or mana? Wow. Okay, so plenty of mana, not so many goblins. And then just one more time. Okay, so first hand where we've got a problem. Okay. So yeah, this is the one where I get a bit messed up. Okay, so that's interesting. So I can start spitting out tokens. So this will come out, no problem. I could leverage this to cast some other stuff once I start getting tokens out. Oh, there's my mountain. Yeah, there's a few cards in here that were in the original pool, in the original seed that I might have well replaced, but yeah, okay, so that's the only really bad, only dodgy hand we've had so far. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the mana then. Okay, so that's it, I think. I think I've seen everything I need to see on that. So that was an interesting deck to build. So in terms of running this over, say, running a goblin, so with this, it's whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Purphoros deals 2 damage to each opponent. So obviously you can see in a token deck, when this is out, I didn't even think actually about casting this. But yeah, well, this can obviously be cast on turn 4, and it starts doing damage, and then once we've got, see, that's the only thing we've got to be a bit mindful of is we do have a lot of tokens in play, so they wouldn't have necessarily, well actually saying that, no, that's not true. We've got a lot of goblins, so yeah, that probably wouldn't be, it would just take a little bit longer under certain circumstances with certain hands. But of course we can still leverage the enchantment side of things, even if it isn't a creature. We then get this sort of 6/5 which we could swing with, and we can give it flying. If we opt not to start pumping creatures, then our Skull Clamp we can cast on like our 1/1 goblin tokens and use it as a way of drawing cards. So there we go. Thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in the next episode.